Welcome to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined, with your host, the one and only Betsy Tinnervin. On this podcast, we bring you people who share their personal journeys in life, business, and of course, real estate. Get motivated, inspired, and priceless information from entrepreneurs, community leaders, and realtors who are thriving. Now let's get raw and real. Here's Betsy.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin, with the Tampa Bay Investments team and LPT Realty. We are excited, as always, to bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Happy weekend, friends and listeners. We are excited. If you are a religious listener with us, we value your time every weekend. We hope to bring you some awesome gems today just on life, business, and real estate. I have three amazing people in the studio. I know I say that every week, but it's true because we really bring you people from the community and people from LPT that just give back and really care about being here. So I have a couple of special agents here and honestly a truly special guest in the house today that I'm honored to just also kind of call my friend. I've gotten to know him and some things that he does personally in the community, which we'll be talking about today. So very cool. I have Mr. DAMIAN Sweet here. He is an LPT agent. He is on Chancey's team. I want to give a big shout out to Tammy Chancey. She is just an amazing leader in the LPT community and so happy that she has allowed one of her team members to step up today. Hey, DAMIAN, how are you?
I'm doing great. Feels good to be here. Thanks for the invite.
I've gotten to know you a little bit and you've become a familiar face. I'm really proud of all the exciting things that you're doing on social media and just with your business. I know you've been in a couple of our classes. And so how has LPT been so far?
LPT has been great, specifically for my advancement. And so it's hard to get that from a lot of brokerages, but the training is on point and it's something I've been lacking. I got it through this company, so I'm really pumped.
I'm excited to have you here today and to dive deeper into what you're doing with your career and just how things are going. And of course, I know how much you love Tammy, and you guys' team is just truly one of a kind. You guys all just have really great hearts. So happy to have you here. And Eileen Civil, I know that you're really good friends with Adriana. She has been just amazing. She's been a familiar face in our classes. You're a single agent with LPT, and we are excited to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
And so are you a local Florida native?
Yes.
And that's awesome. I love agents that are kind of born and raised here. I don't have the cool jam to say that because I'm originally from Illinois, but I can't wait to dive deep into your career and talk to you a little bit later in the show. And the one and only Brian Heckman with Heckman Mortgage. If you have not seen this guy running around town, then I don't know where you've been and you must not live in Tampa because he is truly all over the place. So what's going on, Brian?
How you doing? Good to be here. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, so I just love all the things that you're doing. I think that we originally were Facebook friends virtually.
I think so, yeah. Just kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, like years ago. I think it's awesome how that kind of happens in the world today. I think social media can be such a nightmare or such a blessing. And so one of the things I want to kick off the show is just kind of talking to you, just kind of about what you do, why mortgage. But more so, I want to dive deeper just so you know if you're listening, you're not going to want to miss the next couple segments because we're going to get into creative ways that you can generate leads for your business. And Brian's going to share some of his tips and tricks that he uses. But Brian, just tell me a little bit about the Heckman Mortgage Group.
So we're a residential mortgage company. We've been in business for just about 22 years. And it's kind of boring. It's just mortgages, right? So we have to do the mortgages in an excellent way, in a proactive manner, but really it's all about people. And I think that's the big part that so many people just on both sides of our industry just kind of miss is it's people business. And so that's the fun part of evolving the practice is getting to a point where it's just loving on people.
And so two of the things that you do that are really great, I know one is the foster care program, and then the other is the sex trafficking organization. Can you tell us just a brief synopsis of both of those things?
You bet. So we started a cause basically with our business and our influence in the community and our sphere. It really came down to like having purpose. And so we call it the Big Purpose Team. And really what that ends up looking like is on one end, you have people that are caught up in sex trafficking. On the other end, you have people that are in the foster system. And ironically, like they feed into each other at a scary percentage rate. I mean, it's wild. And then in the middle, there's an organization called New Life Warehouse that really like reaches out to both sides and then also connects with like refugees, homelessness, substance abuse, all sorts of other stuff in between. So we really just became like an advocate. And then, inviting our customers, our sphere of influence, realtor partners into that in a way that we're able to love on our community and be a win for the community, but also be a win for all of us in business that really just are looking for better ways to communicate and stay in touch with our people.
Well, what I love about the show today is that we're actually going to talk about rebranding yourself in 2023. And I thought, what a better group of people to have on the show to kind of talk about that, because I think everything you're doing in business, Brian, just shows me that like your passion and your purpose kind of like merge together. So I love that. So today we're going to talk about rebranding yourself in 2023. So if you're listening and you're a business out there, or you are in real estate or mortgage or any of those things, this show is definitely for you. I'm going to turn to you, Damian, for a second, because I know that coming into the real estate world and the industry today, being your authentic self is difficult in the world. And so I really want to talk about some people that have been in the business a long time. They're kind of doing a rebrand, but other people are doing like a brand. So why do you feel it's important as an agent in your business to brand yourself in 2023?
Well, not just as in real estate, but in any business, when you start to brand or even when you start to rebrand, the whole goal is to know, like, and trust. That's what you want from the public eye. And where we're moving into the future is all business will be in public eye. It's all going to be video. It's all going to be that stuff. You want to be authentic because we'll be able to see through the non-authentic pretty immediately. And so to carry yourself and to have a good brand and to show that to the community, even the people who you don't know are watching, is highly important. And a lot of leads, regardless of what industry you're in, will come from that. So you have to be authentic.
I love that. And I think being authentic also just lets us know that out of the 255,000 realtors in Florida, everyone is different. They can serve a demographic different. They can serve a niche different. And I think that that's really cool. And I agree with you. I think it's in any business. Like, you have to figure out, like, who are you targeting? What's your demographic? Like, what is your space that you find yourself an expert in, and brand yourself accordingly. So I love everything you said. I think that flows into value. And I think, Miss Aileen, it's important to provide value. So how do you feel in the industry that you provide value to your customers, to other agents, to your brokerage in general? Just how do you provide value?
So for me, the way that I provide value is really being a good listener and understanding what the client needs. That's by far the most important thing.
I love that. And you know what's really cool about how you answered that question is, like, you provide value by listening to, like, someone else. So do you want to go a little bit deeper into that?
Sure. So for me, I always try to focus on what the client needs. But if you're not a good listener, how can you meet that expectation? So it's always asking questions, and by adding value, you also want to be sure that you're confident in what you're doing your research, and being honest. Honesty comes with value as well.
Everything you just said just gave me goosebumps. I love that. I think there's two different types of listenings, right? Like listening to respond or like active listening. So I think some people think they're listening, but they're already listening with an answer instead of really sitting back and listening and being an active listener. I just love that. And you're so cute. I just love you. Well, if anyone wants to contact you, could you please give the listeners out there a phone number that they could reach you at?
Okay. My phone number is 813-694-8061.
And Mr. Damian, if someone wants to get a hold of you, how do they do that?
That is 813-335-1185.
And Mr. Brian Heckman with the Heckman Mortgage Group, could you give your contact information?
You bet. 813-749-7776.
To all the listeners out there, we're going to take a deep dive today. We're going to dive deep into segment 2 on creative ways that you can generate leads for your business. So how can you use yourself as a brand, being authentic, and dive deep into how you can generate leads for your business or your real estate business, or even in the financial realm, as Brian talks about, how do you partner with local vendors and create business? I think that the world is kind of a scary place right now. And I know, Brian, you probably couldn't agree more with cost. Like, cost of being a business owner right now. Like, how do you feel about that?
Oh, you have to really get creative. I think that the ways that we used to generate business and just marketing, advertising, traffic, even just 3 years ago, is so radically different and always shifting. And so I think there's a piece when you can connect and humanize yourself and your brand with your demographic, with your sphere. there's a whole lot of opportunity in that space.
Well, I also think too, it's not only generating the business, but keeping the business. And so that one lead that may cost us 10 times more than it cost us 3-4 years ago, now we want to take that lead and make it multiply. So we're going to dive deep with all you listeners out there in segment 2 on creative ways to generate leads, and then how to keep your business, how to have relationship-based sales. I think relationship-based sales is key. And for anyone out there looking to start a business in this tough market, or be in a situation where maybe you are struggling running your business, keeping afloat, we want to show you ways you can organically generate leads. In the world today, the internet has massive power. So we are speaking to all of you out there. Again, we want to give a huge shout out to LPT Realty and Robert Palmer for making the show possible. We want to thank everyone on our executive team. They make this possible in the background. So we're really appreciative of that. Again, don't forget to download that iHeartRadio app. Whether you're at work, you want to pop in those earbuds and you're not supposed to be listening, or you're at home doing laundry or just at the gym, you are not going to want to miss the next couple nuggets that we drop in the next couple segments. So we are going to take a quick break, pay some bills, and we will be right back.
The best comp plans ever in stock and revenue share, but if we're not closing real estate transactions, all of that is worthless, because ultimately everything starts with a real estate transaction, which starts with a consumer. And so we wanted to arm our agents with the absolute best technology and best marketing tools to do more real estate. And that's, again, I think a big differentiator. I think very few brokerages really sit down and say, how do we provide tools to make sure that our agents can be more productive, sell more real estate, win more listings, win at more listing appointments, help more buyers find that home, and we're very focused on that. And so while we have the best comp plans and the best ways for agents to generate wealth and earn, we also have the best tools, and more importantly, I would say have the best tools to help you be successful in real estate.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin with LPT Realty and the Tampa Bay Investments team. We always bring you the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. So happy to have DAMIAN Sweet, an LPT agent with Team Chansey in the house today. Eileen Civil, another single agent with LPT Realty, Florida native, and Brian Heckman with the Heckman Mortgage Group, 22 years in the industry, just an amazing person and businessman as a whole. So awesome to have you guys. We promised the listeners that we would go into creative ways to generate leads for any business as a whole. So DAMIAN, I know that you've really tapped into social media, so you can touch on that a little bit, but I also know that Team Chansey does a lot of community work and community events. So can you really speak to the listeners on how you guys kind of serve your community at the same token as generating business for your real estate team and kind of just building those relationships with people in your community?
So it's definitely focused on that last part, is building the relationships. And the best way to do that is to get yourself in front of anybody. So whether it's through social media or specifically community events, which is our favorite, is you get to go out and you get to give back and you have to give value. And it doesn't have to be money, it doesn't have to be big productions. It could be a soup kitchen, it could be the fair, it could be anything. And so just giving value to the people who need it more than you and not making it business focus ultimately brings business anyways.
That is such an amazing blessing thing to say. Like that last line, I love that. So what are some things that you guys do with Team Chansey, and do you have any events actually coming up?
We do have an event coming up at the Strawberry Festival. We have an event going there. They're going to have a big old float for Team Chansey, and it's going to highlight all of the charity events that they've done throughout the year. And this is prior to me joining the team, so that'll be a good one that's coming up.
And you know what's so crazy about what Tammy does and what you guys do, you, Michelle, Tammy, everybody, you guys like literally do it with joy. So you are literally serving without expectation and you're happy about it. Why does that give you like pride in what you do and passion? And if any business owners out there are listening, like just explain how you use that to literally kind of be a funnel for your business, but also enjoy like what you're doing in the interim.
So it reminds me of a quote of nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And so when you go out there and you care about other people, then they start to care about the things that you like to share. So when you care about them, they reciprocate that with caring about you and what you're doing. And so that keeps me motivated, and it always feels good to do good because doing the right thing is always the right thing.
Okay, so DAMIAN Sweet's going to be on the show every single week. He may become the new host because he is just greatness. Like DAMIAN, greatness, Sweet. Tammy, if you're listening, he's great. I love that. I love everything you said. So happy to have you here. I definitely want to circle back on some social media tips too, because I know you've dived deep in that. But I'm going to turn to you, Eileen, really quick. So what do you do in your business right now, Eileen, to like generate leads? If there's an agent listening or or any business owner listening, like, what do you do in today's market to generate real estate leads?
So one of my biggest ones is social media as well. I went back to cold calling. So it's really going back to what works for you and what you're comfortable with. So right now, my main two source for generating leads is cold calling as well as social media. And I think the biggest thing with both is being consistent and following up.
So you and Damian are both hired. Yeah, I think consistency is really crazy, right? It's kind of like the best thing that I can compare that to is going to the gym. It's like the gym is something that's not instant gratification. So any lead generation out there, whether you're doing internet leads and you have a conversion rate of 1 to 2%, you have to be consistent for 3 months to actually see results. And I think what we're seeing in a tough market like today is people don't want to go back to cold calling. And you know what's funny is we're just going to start doing a call night with my team. And I actually like it because I like really perfecting my sales skills. And my new partner, Jen Spinelli, and I were sitting in the office the other day and I was doing an agent recruit and I looked at her and I said, Jen, I convert in 15 minutes because a 15-minute conversation is long enough to convert. And I did it in 15 minutes and 16 seconds. So I was a little rusty, Aileen, but I'm getting better. But I think when you go back to practicing the basics in your career, if you're actually out there taking those LPT Power Pack flyers, walking the community, doing the community events, Damian, where you're talking to people and going back to cold calling, you kind of master that craft. And it's free. How much does it cost you to cold call?
Not that much.
Not that much, just time, right?
Yeah, time.
So do you have any suggestions for anyone out there that may be struggling with a lead source or what they could do to kind of jump back in and get their feet wet again? Do you want to give anyone any suggestions?
I would say my suggestion is first going to your sphere of influence, but really finding out what are you comfortable with, and then focus on it for at least 3 months before you try to niche elsewhere. But don't try to focus on several different things because you're not going to find out what is working and what's not working.
I think it's one of those things like people are a jack of all trades and a master at none. Yeah. Just get focused, hunker down, like do everything and all of those things. That's awesome. I'm so glad that you're here today. I've enjoyed you. We've only been together 11 minutes. So Brian, I think it's really cool. You got with an LPT agent, Adriana. She is just a gem. Like she literally comes to class and she follows every single assignment and is super successful at it. And then she not only does one assignment, but then she'll do the next assignment and the next assignment. So literally I probably have out of 55 people, like 13 will graduate, but like 3 of them will implement 80% of the class, and she's done 99. And so she talked about you guys the other day, and she said, I met up with this guy, Brian, and I'm going to do some loans with him. And she said, he gave me this box for like closed donations. And she's like, it's crazy because I really wanted to help the people. And then people came to my house in my neighborhood and I think I got a listing out of it. So I really want you to dive deep with everybody just on kind of what you're doing, because I know you as a person. So some people may look at it in a skewed way, but I don't at all. You really are serving and you have passion in that. But what's cool about it is we have to also make money and feed our family and be able to volunteer our time. So I feel like you figured this out. So give us the goods and the gems, man.
So I think that there's, when we talk about our value proposition, is like money first is money. I have to help people make money or do good with their money if they're a customer. So in the real estate space, it's like if I can help realtors make money, like now I have your attention, right? And then it moves to time. Now we have to scale this whole thing so that we're making money and have a little bit of time. But really it's the third level that I feel like very few people I bump into talk about, which is fulfillment. So it's money and it's time and it's fulfillment. And several years back, my wife and I have been doing this for about 2 years. When I wanted to go share this with real estate agents, just to be a way to connect with people. And it's wild because it's a win-win-win-win-win for everybody involved. And my wife had said to me, very wise ladies, like, you got to be really careful because people get the wrong idea. And here I am on the radio now, I'm going to share this, right? So it's really simple. I think everybody in business across every industry is ultimately looking for ways to have significant conversations with people that can humanize us all in business and really be in a space of purpose, right? And making an impact in the community. And so it's just kind of a wild, longer story than we have time for of how it unfolded with helping women get out of sex trafficking, helping people in the foster care system, kids in the foster system, and then just really everything in between. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. We collect used women's clothing is what Adriana did. And that goes to help the ladies at Created Women, the team there right here in Tampa. I'm actually heading there right after this. And they'll use those clothes to meet the women that are being trafficked on the streets right here in our city in their basic need of clothing. And then they'll eventually use that to build a relationship and help rescue and then restore the women from being trafficked.
Well, and what's crazy is you give this box, and what does the outside of the box say?
It's just, it says the Big Purpose Team, and it's bigpurposeteam.com. We just created just a cause just for people, just ordinary people like us.
But so nothing on the box says real estate or mortgage.
No. It's not about, and that's the hardest
No,
part.
we're 100% sure, Brian.
No, you know what? I think it does have your picture on it. Yeah, it does.
But it doesn't say anything, though.
I think it says powered by. Actually, it does because we have to for compliance.
Okay.
We have to have our name on it to justify the marketing and all that.
Okay. For RESPA.
But
so
it's
everyone
like,
in the world knows Brian has to follow lending laws.
That's right. That's the hardest part for everybody. Once you get past that, it's like speaking specifically to real estate, right? We're all looking to connect with our neighborhood, our sphere, our past customers. But yet very few realtors actually do that. They send real estate stuff and no one wants to talk about real estate. Well, except for here
and so
today.
what's cool is I think Adriana even said, so these people wanted to know about the box and they drop off the clothes and all she does is have a conversation about what she's doing with her lender, which is true and real. And I want to dive even deeper with Brian, running out of time in this segment. So we're going to go deeper on segment 3. We're going to talk about marketing yourself authentically, which kind of leads into that based on what you do. I really want to talk about all those different things. If someone wants to contact you though, really quick, could you give out your contact number, Brian?
You bet. 813-749-7776.
And Mr. Damian Sweet, throw out those digits.
813-335-1185.
And Aileen Civil, if someone wants a local Florida native LPT agent, could you give them your phone number?
813-694-8061.
Well, we're honored to have these guests in our studio today talking about rebranding or branding yourself in 2023. We're going to dive deep with Brian Heckman on just how he markets himself authentically. Damian Sweet is going to share some awesome social media tips. So is Aileen Civil. They both use social media in their business. If you're a business owner, a real estate agent, or an LPT agent even, you are not going to want to miss segments 3 and 4. We're happy to have you with us. Don't forget to download the iHeartRadio app, pop in those earbuds. We're going to pay some bills, and we'll see you after the break.
Biggest win, I think, with the dual path and having these two models is that now we become a brokerage for everyone. No matter where you are in your real estate career or what your goals are today, maybe today you're not interested in recruiting or having a team, but then one day you wake up and you are. Well, if you're at the wrong brokerage to do that, you're locked in. Where in our model, we're not holding anyone hostage. We're not tying anyone in. You can move between the different comp plans and have that success and really achieve whatever your definition of success is under one brokerage platform, being LPT.
Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinnervin. Happy to be here, LPT agent with the Tampa Bay Investments team. So excited to have this powerful group in the studio. I know that we bring you awesome, priceless gems every week, but sometimes you get extra special shows. And I just feel like I have 3 people together that honestly met for the first time today, and they're just vibing well and just throwing out tons of content. So I want to jump right back into it. Brian Heckman, Heckman Mortgage, Aileen Civil, an LPT agent, Damian Sweet, another LPT agent with Team Chansey. And today we're kind of talking about rebranding yourself in 2023 as a business, a real estate agent, or in the financial mortgage industry, as well as maybe not doing a rebrand, but just kicking off your business and branding yourself from the jump. So segment 3, we're talking about marketing yourself authentically and what that looks like for you. What is your value proposition? I think another person I have to turn to once again is Brian Heckman. He speaks a lot about that. So Brian, whether you're marketing yourself to clients or to realtors to work with, how do you give them a good value proposition in an authentic way? See, that's the key. Everybody says, I'm going to show up on time. Everyone says, what's the famous line, Brian? I'm going to provide you good customer service. Well, that's like waking up in the morning. So what do you do to not have a value proposition, but that's authentic from other people?
That's great. So I think what's really easy today is you just go on social proof. You just go on social media. So we tell people all the time, hey, go back on our social media, 2 or 3 weeks and just look at the social proof that we're able to deliver in results, and stick around for a week or 2 and you'll see the same thing. And so one thing we talk about a lot is that it's no longer good enough just to get somebody into contract or to sell their house or for us to get a mortgage. That's just, that's like 1990s. That's just not good enough anymore. So a huge thing that we talk about and we do is we help you actually get into contract. there's just no inventory out there. So we're going to be in a multiple offer situation on most properties. We have to help you win the contract. And then we have to get through the appraisal part of it. And so we have an appraisal advantage program that, knock on wood, it does a real good job at avoiding issues with appraisals. And so those are just two examples of we have to do more for our customers.
I love that. And I also think what's really crazy about 2023 in particular is just that we have to do more work to get the same results, because we're all in a tough market. So when you look around and it costs, $65 to fill your car up with gas, or it costs $9 for a gallon of milk, we have to do more. So I'm going to turn to you, Mr. Damian, and just talk about being authentic. I think that when you're navigating the world, one thing that I see you do is just kind of move with confidence. It doesn't have to be super accurate all the time, but you are confident in that, hey, I want people to know what I'm doing. I want people to know I'm out here. So talk about how you take risk in putting yourself out there and marketing yourself authentically.
Well, I think we put ourselves out there all the time, and so it doesn't seem so intimidating to me. We've all worked jobs before, and what do you do to get that job? You've got to sell yourself to somebody that you don't know. And so when you get on social media and you're talking to people and you have a message, you just need to stand behind your message, because now you're not selling to somebody who may or may not care to you. Now you're talking to people who need information from you that maybe you don't know that they need. And so when you're spreading value, it's got to mean something to you. You can't just play the game and fake the funk. You got to know that there's a person who's listening to you on the other side who really needed that message. Whether it brings you a lead or not, it's the right thing to spread something that's going to help somebody.
I also think too, Aileen, and you can give me your opinion on this, is like the power of the internet. Like what an awesome tool that, back when agents had like paper contracts and they had to walk in a room and present their listing. And now we can put one thing on the internet and get thousands and thousands of views. Like, how do you feel about the internet? What's your favorite social media platform? Like, let's talk about marketing on the internet for a second.
So I think the internet can be intimidating at times, but once you allow yourself the opportunity to step out your comfort zone, it begins to become comfortable. So I would say it's all about being genuine and being yourself. The right people who connect with you will be willing to work with you.
And so what do you do on social media today? Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
So I am on Facebook, Instagram, as well as TikTok. But out of all three platforms, I'm mostly on Instagram.
Are you a crazy TikTok dancer?
No.
You're not?
No.
Okay, so what do you do on TikTok?
No, I'm mostly on Instagram. When it comes to TikTok, I just try to provide value in the area, as well as just different content for people who may be looking to buy or sell.
Do you have any good advice for agents out there using social media right now?
Just step out your comfort zone.
I think that's great. I think it's awesome when you like portray confidence and you take risk. I think the content that you don't post, you never get a reaction from. No. Right? So all that stuff that we do on our phones and different things like that. So Damian, I'm going to turn back to you for a second. How do you not get engrossed in the internet? Like, what do you do as it's like for a long time, I did not have an Instagram account till like a month ago. Wow. Like legit. So I feel like it's one of those things too, where it's like jack of all trades thing, right? Like you can't have 6 platforms and master all of them. Okay. So I was big into Facebook. I think LinkedIn's really great. The thing that I struggle with on Instagram is that you cannot have a call of action really, or a link or different things like that. So it's just a lot of views and a lot of hype, in my opinion. Not representing or dogging out Instagram. I hope no one hears this and I don't get sued. But just kind of talk to people, Dave, about how you actually use social media as a platform to generate business, generate leads, and portray yourself, not get inundated in scrolling through 85 reels, looking at pointless content.
I think it's about understanding your purpose. It's a tool at the end of the day. If you look at it as entertainment, you'll get lost. If you look at it as a tool, then you'll start creating things. And so I'm only going to go into my social media with a purpose to deliver something. If I find myself getting caught in the rabbit hole of scrolling, I will physically remove myself away from the phone. Phone goes to another room. I'll go for a walk. I'll do an exercise. I'll do whatever. I don't get caught up into that unless I'm consuming information that's going to allow me to put out information.
Yeah, so Damian, this show is raw and real, bro, and I love you. But do not lie. Once you get on social media, Brian Heckman's laughing, Eileen's looking at me. You know, just like everyone else, it's play this song and see what your baby does. Boom, 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 boom. And then the next thing is like, look at my daughter doing whatever. So, bro, we all do that.
We all go down the rabbit
Okay,
hole.
I just want to make sure you know you're in the rabbit hole too. Okay. But what I'm saying is to everybody out there, and I think what you're saying, Damian, too, is like, what do we do when we find that? One thing that I think is cool and not really like a bad shout out is you do need to watch like who you accept as your friends on social media, right? Because what I've started to do is I've started to unfollow negativity. And I think that that's really important. So, Brian, I know you do a lot in the community, but social media wise for you, because I know that you're like super big into like your church. You're really into like the foster care system and taking on a new kid every single day. I don't know how you have time. You're just like me. But what do you do to kind of delete negativity? And what do you suggest to people that are rebranding in 2023 and they really want to be on that positivity train?
Yeah, I think that it's like anything. It's just like in what you eat. You know, you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out. And I think there's a big piece of that to one's spirit, one's soul, whatever you want to call that, that I think that we just kind of ignore that aspect of it. And the next thing you do, you wake up and you realize it might not even be toxic people, but it might just be people that are in neutral and or people that aren't going anywhere. And so it's like this, I just heard recently like a drifting concept where as humans we naturally just drift, and if we don't anchor with the right people, and it's not just like throwing the anchor out there, it's like actually setting the anchor, and if not, we just naturally drift, and then you wake up a week, 2 weeks, 2 months later, and you don't realize that you're with maybe people that aren't bad, it's just they might not be where you thought you wanted to go, you know, January 1st when you set all your new goals. Right.
Yeah, I definitely think, and I'm actually going to talk about this on the second show today, is that, you know, it's crazy because I think that growth track and alignment are two different things. You know, people that are actually aligned with your purpose could be totally different than being on the same growth track as you. Like there's a lot of people that are in alignment with my values and my morals and my dreams and my goals, but their growth track and what they define success as is drifting, like you just mentioned. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I want to go from A to B to C to D to E to F, I want to hang out with the people that are already at G, whether I'm at A or not, so I get to kick into overdrive, you know? Yeah. So I couldn't agree with you more. I love that. If someone wants to contact you, Mr. Brian Heckman with Heckman Mortgage Group, could you give them your phone number?
You bet. 813-749-7776.
Mr. Damian Sweet, LPT agent, Team Chansey, throw out those digits.
813-335-1185.
And Eileen Civil, I just love her. You can't see her, but she is such a cute little spirit. Of course, she's way cuter than the boys on the show today. So Eileen Civil, LPT agent, give them your phone number.
813-694-8061.
We are giving you all the gems today of rebranding yourself in 2023 or just finding your brand in 2023. We are talking the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. Huge shout out to LPT and Robert Palmer for making this show possible today. Please download that iHeartRadio app and pop in those earbuds. Plug in every single weekend to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. We're going to pay some bills and we'll catch you after the break. Welcome back to the LPT All-Star Radio Show. I am your host, Betsy Tinervin with LPT and the Tampa Bay Investments team. Happy to be here with you. Shout out to LPT Realty and Robert Palmer. The show is powered by the one and only fastest growing brokerage in the country. We are a year into our journey and we are at 3,000 plus agents. It's phenomenal to see what we've done, how we've grown, and how many lives we can touch. We love being a catalyst and connector in our community, bringing in business owners that have to do with real estate and business, as well as local LPT agents, giving them a chance to shine and show you who they are. So today we're talking about rebranding yourself in 2023 or just finding your brand. If you're a business owner in real estate or the mortgage world, as well as just anyone out there in the community that provides value to Tampa Bay, you may be kicking off with some New Year's resolutions. It didn't work out, but let's figure out like who you are and how you can rebrand yourself. We've walked you through some creative ways to generate leads, how to market yourself authentically. So we're going to wrap this show up with finding vision in 2023 and just really what you're doing to be different. So everyone has vision for every single year and they start off with these goals. We kind of talked about growth track, but what does it mean to you? Like, what does vision mean to you? So hopefully these guys can give you some insight and some priceless gems to kind of contribute to that in your world today. So Damian, I'm going to start with you for vision for 2023. This is going to scare me, but I'm straight opening the floodgates, man. I'm not even going to give you a question. Just speak now or forever hold your peace.
I think the vision for me this year in my real estate career is just to become more of an expert. And so to always learn more and to try to be the guy who always has the answers, or at least knows where to get those answers, and really be a motivator for new realtors. And then in my personal life, that's still going to connect to that, is I really want to start reaching out more to youth and show them entrepreneurial ways to build a good future and to change their family tree so that they can retire their parents, which is my ultimate goal. Retire my mom and make enough money for the both of us. And so I think that's my greater vision.
I know that you're like so married, but I know all the women listening out there really want to clone you right now. So if anyone out there runs a cloning business, I know where Damian lives. We can just clone him. Yeah, I love that. So I think that what's really cool about contributing to the youth is that they really are in a tougher environment almost than what we grew up in. I really think that people look at Youth Day and go, they have the internet and they have these tools, but it's really tough for them. They are really subjected to things they're not ready for with YouTube and all the different things that they have going on. And also with COVID and how they've grown up in school. So I think it's a beautiful thing that you want to mentor to them, honestly. I do.
I appreciate it.
I think it's great. Miss Aileen Civil. So vision for 2023, life, business, real estate. Tell the world what's up, man.
I would say number one is being consistent. I have my share of moments where I do slack. So I want to be consistent this entire year, and also setting realistic goals and not trying to put too much goals all at once, but just taking one at a time. And once I've accomplished that goal, work on getting to the next one.
I think that execution is consistency is like, you're my twin, because I have all of these visions, but then it's like, okay, how do we execute and how do we have a scalable plan to do that, right? Yeah. And on top of executing, then once you execute, how do you stay consistent with that? So now I'm going to come back to you. What is your plan to stay consistent? What are you doing to hold yourself accountable?
Really, my sphere of influence. I kind of tell them what I'm looking to do. And the moment I start slacking or give myself excuses, they're right there pushing me forward.
I love that. That's awesome. So Brian Heckman, you always have a vision and a plan, and you're kind of like me, and we kind of, dip and dodge and bob and weave. But what is the vision for 2023, man?
So I think that people have an insatiable appetite to really make a difference, make an impact, have purpose. And so one thing that I've noticed just in the last, say, like year, I care less and less about controlling my business and kind of trusting that that's going to work out, in that, again, we're in a people business. And so Dunbar's number, if you Google that, you find out we have the ability to have real relationship with 150 people. And that's it. Real relationship. And so in those 150 people, it's being somebody that can ask the questions that matter, invite people and inspire people to take one step forward, right? So I love what Damian's saying about like impacting youth. Like, so many people, they don't have the know-how of different organizations and causes. In Tampa, it is crisis level, just with foster care. Crisis level. There's about 3,000 kids every single night. They have no bed. So you think about no bed means not really good sleep, which means they're going to go to school the next day late, maybe not go to school, like compound that night after night, week after week, month after, and people think that they have to like foster kids. You don't have to foster kids, But there's so many different ways that people can get involved in just little tiny steps, right?
Like dropping off suitcases to your house.
Yeah, but don't tell them where I live yet. My wife will kill me. She'll kill me.
Just so everyone out there knows, Brian does collect suitcases. So you can look up Heckman Mortgage. They do have an office. He collects suitcases for children that do get placed in foster care in the middle of the night because they literally show up with garbage bags or plastic bags with their items. So Brian, not only does he foster kids that need placement in the middle of the night, but he also, just like he said, is if you want to get involved on a smaller scale, does collect suitcases, which is pretty great.
And clothes and toys and all that stuff. We got an outlet for that stuff now.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I love that. Damian, do you have final thoughts for the listeners today? I like to give people their kind of own space to just speak and give final thoughts. So give everyone your final thought.
I think my final thought would be, we all like to say new year, new me. It doesn't have to be new. So you just have to know what you want and then work that backwards. Just reverse engineer. Not everything has to be a massive milestone. The small wins are still crucial and important because you can't get a big win without them. And so it doesn't always have to be the big grand picture. You can always start small, and that's still important, and you can get anywhere. Any background, anybody who's wants what you want, has gone through what you've gone through. There's no single unique situation. And so whatever you want, somebody's done it, and there's no reason at all why you can't. Social media is free. You can reach anybody with a cell phone who's got it. You'll find somebody that you can relate to, and it's off to the races.
I think, too, it's like reinventing the wheel. I think this is not the year to do that in, right? So why would you not do the rip off and repeat method and add some flavor to it? Because I think that there's so many long-term players in our game that have experience in the industry, whether it's mortgage, whether it's real estate, whether it's just business owners as a whole. Go find out that complaints are a gift. When someone gives you a complaint, it's a gift. A failure is a gift. Go ask them how they failed. Ask them what they did. I couldn't love that advice more to kind of conclude our show today, because I think that's really important. Don't look at a complaint or a failure as a problem, and go speak to people about it. You don't need to go jump off the same cliff someone else jumped off of. I love that. Eileen, any final thoughts?
I would say for any agent, just go out there and kill it. Like, there's going to be good days, there's going to be bad days, there's going to be tough seasons, but the main goal is staying consistent, and you'll get there.
She goes straight to the point, doesn't she, Brian? Like, she comes in for the kill, man. She's like, here's what's up, here's what it is. I love that. Radio interviewers love that, because you can just say it. You hit home, you hit right to their heart. I love that. And Brian Heckman, final thoughts for people today.
I would just say, just go try something new, right? Go try something different. As you can tell from what I've talked about today, I try something that's got purpose to it. And come out and serve with like New Life Warehouse, right? Organization in town, just one Saturday for 2 hours with your family, with your kids. It'll radically change how you see things when you see how much we actually have, how much we're blessed with compared to people that have so much less right here in our city.
I love that. I love that. So we hope all of our listeners got a little rebrand 2023 today. Whether you're a business owner, we like to talk the raw and real of life, business, and of course, real estate. So whether you need a rebrand for 2023 or you just need a brand for 2023, we hope that we gave you some tips, tricks, and of course, gems. Couldn't appreciate all of our religious listeners more, everyone that tunes in every single weekend. We love you, even though you're not here with us. If I could just wrap my arms around you and give you a great big hug, I would do that. Again, we want to thank LPT Realty for this show. I'm going to let everyone throw out all of their contact information in case you want to contact Brian Heckman with Heckman Mortgage Group. How do they get a hold of you, Brian?
813-749-7776.
And Damian Sweet, Team Chansey. Gotta love Tammy Chansey. Huge shout out to her again. Just an amazing human in spirit. And of course, Damian, you just exemplify that as well. So throw out the digits people get a hold of you.
It's 813-335-1185.
And Eileen Civil, obviously the cutest person on my show today, outside of the boys. She's so sweet, so cute. Florida native, LPT agent. Throw out those digits for everyone to contact you.
813-694-8061.
We hope that everyone enjoyed listening to our show today. Again, we're going to give a shout out to everyone down south as well. We know that Hurricane Irma came through and everyone just kind of forgets about the tragedy. We want to give just hearts, prayers, and just a great big hug and kick and boot boost for everyone rebuilding their communities in Fort Myers, Port Charlotte, and Cape Coral area. Us in Tampa Bay, we love you, we hear you, and we are with you. So excited that we dropped Priceless Gems today. Unfortunately, our show has to end, and we will catch you next weekend.
Thanks for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast, powered by LPT Realty, Real Estate Reimagined. We hope this episode motivated and inspired you. And don't forget to rate and review us. Thanks again for listening to the Raw and Real of Real Estate podcast with Betsy Tinervin.